Hello everyone and welcome back after a long hiatus to another AKA video. Today we're going to be covering the new Dead by Daylight killer lore as requested by you viewers truly. So we're going to jump straight into it. The new killer here is called Kazan Yamaoka, and we're just going to go straight into the lore, and then after that Perky and I are going to sit down and discuss a little bit of maybe background stuff. He's done a bit of research on it. So yeah, without further ado, let's get straight into the lore of it. So here it is. Honouring his family name was never enough for Kazan Yamaoka. He wanted to surpass his father's reputation and end what he saw as the thinning of samurai culture, with farmers often posing as samurai. His father tried to turn Kazan's attention to more noble pursuits, but Kazan refused to heed his advice, and borrowing his father's katana, he embarked on a dark pilgrimage to prove his worth and rid Japan of imposters. Ignoring the code that had been taught to him, Kazan killed imposters in the hills and the valleys, on the beaches and in the woodland. The killings were brutal, cruel and morbid. He humiliated farmers and warriors alike, yanking off their top knots and stripping them of their armour. His rage, bloodlust, and perverse sense of honour knew no bounds. Monks believed he was possessed by something dark and otherworldly, and cursed him, while a noble lord began to call him Oni Yamaoka, which means the rageful samurai, an insult to both Kazan and his family. Determined to redeem his family's name, Kazan now butchered anyone who dared call him Oni Yamaoka. The insult confused him. He had defeated the best, and he had purified the samurai class by riddling the land of imposters. How could anyone refer to him as an ogre? Had it been because he had marched onto a battlefield to cut down the fiercest warriors? Had it been because he had taken a kanabo and dashed hundreds of skulls with it? Or had it been because of his need to secure a trophy from his victims? It didn't matter. Being called an ogre was more than he could bear, and an ominous voice in his head urged him to strike down the lord who had desecrated his name. As Kazan made for the lord's town, he suddenly found himself face to face with a samurai standing on a dirt road, blocking his way. Kazan readied his kanabo. Without a word, the samurai attacked and quickly secured the upper hand, but he hesitated. With a devastating blow, Kazan crushed the samurai's head and cracked his helmet. As Kazan approached the fallen samurai, he saw his father's face and staggered back to his haunches. His father stared at Kazan with mingled shame and regret as he issued his last breath. Kazan closed his eyes and screamed in agony until he could scream no more. When he opened his eyes again, his father was gone. Not only had he killed his father, but he had allowed thieves to steal his body for armour. Bitter, lost, and disillusioned, Kazan roamed the land aimlessly, with his father's voice rattling in his head, taunting him, reminding him of his failures, sending him into fits of uncontrollable black rage. One day, walking in the woods, Kazan happened upon an Oni statue. He stopped and stood motionless for a long moment. The weathered and overgrown statue seemed to be ridiculing him, accusing him of being the imposter samurai he had so desperately sought to destroy. Kazan shook the laughing voice out of his head and half remembered the lord who had ridiculed him as Oni Yamaoka. With renewed anger, Kazan journeyed to a town high up in the snowy mountains where the lord resided. A dozen samurai met Kazan at the gates of the town. A dozen samurai fell to his kanabo. His speed and strength were unmatched. His rage was incomprehensible. Covered in blood and gore, Kazan battled through the town and soon found the lord hiding in the villa. He dragged him out of a cabinet, sliced his tendons to immobilize him, and watched him beg and squirm like a dog. Without hesitation, he thrust his fist into the lord's mouth and yanked out the wicked tongue that had desecrated his name. Satisfied, Kazan exited the villa to find himself surrounded by dozens of farmers wielding rusted scythes, sharp pitchforks, and heavy clubs. He survived the first few assaults, but there were too many attackers coming from every direction. Within moments, Kazan was on the ground, staring at a cold, indifferent, darkened sky as farmers took turns stabbing and torturing the Oni who had butchered their beloved lord. The frenzied mob grabbed Kazan into a small dragged Kazan into a small stone mill to continue the torture, and finally left him to die a slow, agonizing death. When they returned, the mill was filled with strange black fog, and Kazan's body and the cannibal were nowhere to be found. It was the beginning of a dark legend about a rageful Oni haunting the town. So that is the extremely mythical and kind of legendary story of this new killer. Very, very Japanese indeed in terms of the mythology of it. Perky, do you have anything to say about this lore and this new character?
Yes, so Oni in Japanese folklore is a kind of ogre or a troll-based person. It can feature one or more horns, which you can link back to his art in the game, which is very interesting on his helmet. And at the start, it mentions the thinning of samurai culture, and that was quite a big part of the Japanese way. You know, they had 7 main virtues to live by as a samurai. This was justice, courage, benevolence, respect, honesty, honor, and loyalty. And in this passage, he goes against literally all of them. He's unloyal to his dad because he straight up kills him. I suppose you could say that he still has courage and honor because he's honoring the samurai way.
Well, I guess the honor though is also lost in killing his dad. That's not very honorable in terms of a family point of view, and I have a feeling that the samurai would want to obviously honor a family name. So
yeah, I mean, you can tell by his response to that as he literally sits there and cries out. So it's definitely affected him. The top knot, the quote, that's a link to the con mage, which was the top knot adorned by samurais. It was used to keep their helmets on during battle, and it's linked to the Edo period of the Japanese history, which is set around the 1700s. So that's the time frame of this law.
And this that's like a hairdo, right? Like a kind of
so it's just
a knot.
Yeah, it's a top knot, and it's like, so it's essentially like the status quo for being a samurai. You know, if you've got that, you can be seen as like a respected soldier to samurai culture. And one of the final bits that I picked up on was, if anyone doesn't know what a kanabo is, it's a spiked or studded 2-handed war club used by the samurai.
Yeah, as you can see actually in the picture, very well depicted right there. I've got it perfectly on the screen. Yeah, that is a kanabo, so it's yes, as you said, a spike club. It's it's quite a story though. I do actually like that, and I like the twist of as you say, like him killing his dad, and then it's almost like that affected him. That was kind of the moment that he wasn't really a samurai anymore. He wasn't really a samurai from the beginning, but at that point he really had gone against everything that upholds kind of everything that a samurai represents. So it's just a really cool law, and I mean it goes quite hand in hand with what's the other
the spirit,
the spirit one.
So in the spirits map, the family's residence, you can see the Oni mask on display. That might be a link to this. That might mean that the spirit is set a long time after the events of this, because this goes down as a rageful Oni haunting the town, a dark legend.
I think that does make sense.
Why the dad turned bad and killed the spirit. Yeah.
So the samurai being around an 18th century, 17th, 18th century thing.
Yeah.
Is this is an old killer essentially. So yeah, that's very, very cool. Interesting to see how it plays out as well. It seems like there's a lot of brutalism in this one. There's a lot of going around and bashing people. But yeah, a super cool lore as always. I always really like reading these lores because they're always very nice little stories, horror stories. Yeah,
it's the first original character in the year 4. which is also worth noting.
That is also worth noting. So this is all an original concept here, and a very good original concept. And it'll be interesting to see how this plays out in the future. Okay, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. As we say, yeah, we've obviously been a bit AFK, aka AFK, for a while, but we are trying to bring that back. So we hope you did enjoy this return to the lore format. Please like if you did enjoy. Leave a comment what your thoughts are. Oh my god! Here's Jason coming back as we speak. Yeah, please make sure to like and comment what you think about it.
And tune in on to stream Sundays.
Yeah, we're working on some streaming on weekends. So yeah, that's all that we've got to say really. Say bye, boys.
Tatty buys.
All right, peace out.